Now, onto the setting. I'm not going to complain about stupid things like not getting to see more locations and sorcerers across the country. World building for world building's sake is stupid. If it's not important to the story, then we don't need to see those locations. However, there is setting stuff that seemed like it could've or should've been more important. I'll start with the clans. The big three families, Gojo, Zenin, and Kamo. These are supposed to be the big families in the sorcerer world, yet we barely see any of them. There is one Gojo and one Kamo, two if you count the guy that Kenjaku possessed. Their families have little to no impact on the story. Most of the Zenin clan are shown and wiped out in the same arc. Their impact amounts to being a ghost of Megumi and Maki's backstories. In the present, they're as invisible as ghosts, except for the one arc where they're wiped out. Remember, Gege didn't have to make clans. He could have given each character an individual tech, but he decided to put some focus on the clans, yet he barely did anything with them. Then there's the higher ups. Like I said in the last video, Gege has this vision of how important they are, but it isn't properly communicated because they basically do nothing. Their power and influence isn't felt in the story, which is why my reaction to Gojo killing them was whatever. I don't believe in show don't tell. I believe in show and tell. JJK just did all telling for the clans and the higher ups. Here are some smaller things. Remember the big three vengeful spirits? What happened with that? Even the wiki doesn't know who all of them are. The only one we know for sure is Michizane Sugawara. He's supposed to be legendary, and he's an ancestor to Gojo and Yuta. He's just skimmed over in JJK 0 as a possible justification for Yuta's genetic talent, and then Uro reveals that Yuta also has Fujiwara blood. Once again, that clan basically serves as more justification for Yuta's talent. I just don't understand the desire to bring up interesting concepts and barely touch them. There was no need to name drop Sugawara or Fujiwara to explain Yuta's talent. He could have just said nothing, but the fact that Gege did this made it seem like he was going to explore it. I said I didn't care about the Heian era flashback because I thought it would only be about Sukuna and Kenjaku, but if it was going to show us all of these legendary characters and clans in action, I need it. I don't like the staggeringly low amount of domains we've seen, especially for the characters I want to see use them. I was going to go on a multi-paragraph rant about what the real problem was, but I think the simplest explanation of my disappointment is that in most battle manga, by the end of the story, the main crew of heroes reach the pinnacle of their magic system. Most special grade sorcerers and curses have a domain expansion. I guess I just expected more characters to level up to special grade status by the end of the story, earning them domains. Look at the other classics. The Monster Trio and One Piece all have top tier abilities. Team 7 all had Hokage level abilities by the end. In Bleach, the main Shinigami had Bankai. Fairy Tail, Hero, and Black Clover all continue the trend. By the end of the story, the main heroes reach the pinnacle of their magic system. JJK doesn't have to be like that, but it's definitely disappointing and a hit to the magic system for a lack of exploration. Showing what interesting kinds of domains Nobara, Todo, and Inumaki could have conjured up would have added depth to the system, but instead, we get left hanging on what could have been. Yuki, Hanami, Uro, and Ryu had domains that were never shown. Megumi never completed his domain. Others like Chozo, Urame, and Geto potentially had them, but they were never shown. Speaking of left hanging, Technique Reversal or Jujutsu Shiki Hanten. For how early this was revealed to us, it's criminal that we only have two. I swear Gege only liked Limitless. He gave him a base ability, a lapse, a reversal, a combination of lapse and reversal, a domain, and teleportation. No other technique gets this kind of love. Back to reversals. This was personally the coolest concept in the system, even cooler than domains, but we only get two of them, despite other characters being able to use RCT to heal. I'm looking at you all, Sukuna, Yuta, Yuki, and Urame. Once again, several missed opportunities due to the fact that Gege doesn't want his characters to level up. Forget reversals, we don't even know what Ieri's base technique is, and she's supposed to be a trio with Gojo and Geto. JJK had an issue with making up new rules mid-fight. Some of them were rules disconnected from binding vows, and some of them were tied to binding vows. This mostly becomes a problem starting with Gojo versus Sukuna. Confiscation would take away Sukuna's technique and make the fight too easy? Well, throw in a new rule that confiscation takes a curse tool if they have one. Sukuna's missing left hands to activate his domain? Well, throw in a new binding vow that allows him to do it with one hand. But wait, there's more. He also moved his CT and DE to an undamaged part of the brain. And what's the trade-off? A 99-second limit. Can't forget about Gojo suddenly changing the trajectory of red, or chanting to reactivate blue on himself. Gojo and Sukuna were cheaters. Like I said in my video dedicated to the subject, characters having the ability to change the rules of their powers mid-battle is ridiculous. It can easily lead to contrivances and conveniences in the plot. It would take a very disciplined writer to be able to handle this. That is not Mr. Akutami. Some of these trade-offs are so unbalanced. It didn't work in Hunter x Hunter, and it didn't work here. In conclusion, JJK did more telling than showing. The power system didn't reach its full potential, and the binding vows resulted in lazy writing.